Hello, Lucid Explorers. I'm sorry that I haven't had a video in a little while, but I wanted to go ahead and do one now and see how it goes. So I wanted to talk about, or at least help you to eliminate your fears regarding any myths or ideas about lucid dreaming and astral traveling. There's a lot of them. For example, are there entities out there? Can they hurt me? What happens if I cut my silver cord? Will I die? Will I get lost out there? Will I get stuck in a lucid dream or an out of body experience so that I can't come back into my body? Will somebody else, like an entity, get into my body before I do? Um, will I get so exhausted doing these things at night when I should be, quote, sleeping, that I'm just going to be an utter wreck all the time? What is sleep paralysis, and why is that so frightening? I want to talk about all these things and kind of help you to eliminate these fears, because I really want you to understand that there really isn't a whole lot to be afraid of at all. Really, all these things are dependent on your vibrational state. So, if you're in a positive vibrational state, if you're feeling good, then you are only going to attract energies, situations, or whatever at your vibrational level. If you're attracting things at a lower vibrational level, then all you need to do is stop and readjust your vibrational state. Think about where you're at, what you're attracting, acknowledge that, and then change your vibrational state. Sorry, you can hear my dog in the background. Anyway, are there any real dangers to lucid dreaming and astral traveling? And I would say the only one is to your physical body itself. So be smart, don't go astral traveling where your body is exposed to situations that could be harmful, So do it at home, in your own bed or whatever, have your privacy and things like that. Like I said, the only harm that can come of you is to your physical body. And that's just because, well, our physical bodies are limited in that respect. But as far as, our astral bodies, like, nothing's going to happen. So let's go through these things one by one and give you some better understanding of what I mean by that. All right, so cutting your silver cord. Like, I don't know if you've even experienced a silver cord. I haven't. So it may or may not be there. And that's okay. It doesn't matter either way. But as far as cutting it, you can't. Like, that is just a connection between you and your physical body that will be there until you die. Nobody can affect that. Nobody can change that. Not even you, unless, again, like I said, you affect the physical body, not the astral body. So no worries about that. You cannot cut your cord. You cannot die. Like I said before in my past video, I have died tons of times in my dreams, in my lucid dreams, in my astral traveling. I have been shredded by jaguars. I have, quote, drowned in a tsunami or whatever the case may be. And there's always that moment where you're like, oh, I'm totally okay. There's nothing wrong with me. I just agreed subconsciously to that image. I agreed to be afraid of that image, and I got caught up in that. And once you realize that, or let's say you disengage from being caught up in that, then you realize you're perfectly fine, that there's nothing happening to you. You have agreed to that story. So then just let that story go, and you're really not caught up in it. So There you go. What about getting lost in the astral or in a lucid dream? The funny thing about that is that it is harder to go into the astral than it is to stay in your body. Like, there is definitely, it requires a lot of effort, to work on astral traveling, on lucid dreaming, and being out there in those realms. So the reality is that the second that you start thinking about your body, boom, you're like back in your body. So you don't even have to worry about that at all. If you're getting caught up in, let's say, false awakenings, sometimes that's a little intimidating. You have a scary dream, you wake up, you think, okay, I'm awake now and I'm perfectly okay. And then you realize, oh shit, like I'm still dreaming and it's still scary, or whatever the case may be. So just realize that you can still wake up. You're just kind of agreeing to stay in the storyline. There's something that you still need to resolve within the storyline. And so your subconscious or your higher self is trying to help you to work through whatever that storyline is by trying to keep you in it. But the reality, like I said before, is you can't be harmed by that experience. So you really just need to take the time to work through those fears. It's your higher self that's calling to you and saying, hey, I really need you to work through these things, so I'm giving you more opportunities here. You think you're awake, okay, you're not. We really need you to work on these things. But again, it doesn't take much to wake up from that. So don't worry about that. You're not going to get lost. You're not going to get stuck out there. And like I said, the second you really start thinking about your physical body and you become aware of your physical body, boom, you're like back in your physical body. So as far as, entities or possession or, oh my God, what if that spirit enters my body before I can get back in? What do I do? Well, like I said before, any kind of entities or things are only going to be attracted to you if you're in a lower vibrational state, because they are at a lower vibrational state. And everything is attracted to you based on where you are in your vibrational state. So as long as you're in a higher vibrational state, you're good. As far as things, ending up in your body, not without your consent. They just can't. There's like some sort of rule. I'm not sure. I don't understand it. But none of these things can affect you without your consent. They need to have your consent. But you may not realize that you may have a subconscious agreement. Maybe there's something within you subconsciously that you're wanting that experience. So if you do find that you have that experience, look to yourself, like, why am I agreeing to this? Why am I allowing this? Because you don't have to. And the second that you realize, I'm not okay with this, then say that. This is not okay. This needs to change. Get the fuck out of my body. Whatever, that doesn't need to happen, because it is on your own agreement that these things happen. So the trick is you just want to keep yourself at a higher vibrational state. And so even like, let's say in a lucid dream or an out-of-body experience, and you find that you're in an environment that's a lower vibrational state, then do some tips and techniques to work on raising your vibration. And I'll work on another video on that at some point. But anything that makes you feel better or happier, more loving in your waking state is going to do the same thing, in your astral state. So use those things. I also use keywords, the keyword love, for an example, or God, or the universe, or angels, or whatever your belief system is. Using those words will help you to get to that higher vibrational state, because so many people have put energy into those words, so they're powerful. So I use them a lot too, especially in a lucid dream. If I want to change that lucid dream into a full astral traveling experience to raise my vibration, sometimes I'll use those words, and that helps a lot. Your body is also not an empty vessel while it's lying there. So don't think that when you're out traveling that your body is just this empty shell, because it's not. It has still quite a bit of your consciousness in it. Only some of your consciousness is leaving during your travels. So the likelihood of anything even being able to get in there is pretty non-existent. Again, it's really that you are agreeing to that. And I've felt that before. I've opened myself up to that and wanted to see what that felt like. And then I was like, nah, I'm okay. And it immediately left. So, again, everything is to your consent, to your agreement. So if you don't agree to it, it's not going to happen. Let's see what else. As far as mental exhaustion, your body is the thing that needs to rest. When you're sleeping, when you're dreaming, that is the thing that needs to really recuperate. And so it is. While you're sleeping, it is sleeping, and your consciousness can leave. Your consciousness doesn't need the sleep. Your consciousness, you'll find that once you pass over and you are in that realm, permanently, that sleep is not necessary. That your consciousness is just that, and it doesn't need the things that we do when we are physical. So it is our physical bodies that need that sleep and need that rest. So if you want to astral travel or lucid dream the whole time that you are asleep, you could ostensibly do that. Not that that's the easiest thing in the world, but you can absolutely do that. So don't worry about those things. You're not going to get exhausted because you spent all night, having a lucid dream. As far as sleep paralysis, that's an interesting thing. It can feel really intimidating, and it can really trigger your fears, which then puts you into a low vibrational state. And then sometimes people say, oh, well, I noticed, a negative entity or these scary things, and it really frightened me. Sleep paralysis happens because let me explain this better. When you are going to sleep, there's a mechanism in your body that needs to basically shut off your physical responses, because if you were to physically respond to everything in your dream, you'd be running around physically still, you'd be moving your body and all this stuff. So there's a mechanism in you that shuts your physical movements down while you're sleeping. So the difficulty is that when you become aware of that, so as you're falling asleep, you notice, oh my God, I can't move my body. I can't respond to things. And it's really easy to get frightened by that, because you're so used to being able to move that can be a really, scary trigger. But if you can change that awareness into an awareness of excitement, of instead of getting freaked out by, hey, I can't move my body, instead think, oh my God, this is like the first step in me being able to leave my body, that I can go have an astral experience right now because my body is asleep. And so using that as an opportunity to relax into the experience, to kind of surrender into the experience and feel the vibrational state, and then go ahead and exit your body right then. Like, that is perfect timing. So the trick is just not get triggered by that fear, by that paralyzation, that, oh my God, I can't move. You'll be okay. And the things, if you see like a negative entity, just remember that's because you're afraid. You're at a lower vibrational state and you're in a fear state. So just recollect yourself, raise your vibration, realize that this is an opportunity to go out of your body and use that opportunity. Get excited about it, but not too excited, because if you're too excited, then boom, you're too awake. But, instead of thinking negatively, think positively. Use it as an opportunity. So like I said, there's no real dangers to your body, to your astral body. As long as you do these things in a safe place for your physical body, you're perfectly okay. And yeah, just don't worry about these things. Keep yourself at a high vibrational state. If you find yourself in a lower vibrational state and you're having a hard time getting out of it, maybe it's because your subconscious wants you to work on some things in yourself. Maybe you need to work on confronting your shadow aspects of yourself. So if you're having a harder time getting out of that lower vibration, then just recenter yourself. You could also call in guides. Hey, I could use some help in working through this fear that I've got right now so that I can move up to a higher vibrational state. Know that they can't hurt you. Nothing can harm you there. You just need to maybe work on whatever that is that's keeping you in that lower vibrational state. So anyway, I hope this helps you. If you have any questions that you'd like me to answer in regards to these things, I'm happy to answer those. I can either do it below, or I can do a subsequent video if there's enough questions. So also go to my website. I'll put a link down below as well. And yeah, happy dreaming, you guys.